Hi, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's the Uncensored Match Build-Up Show. I've never done this before. I have never done, in 8 years nearly of Redmen TV, I've never sat here or in any of the shit studios we used to have and talked about Liverpool being 90 minutes away from a Champions League final. I've got Ross Chandler, I've got Jamie Richards, and of course Chris Page. Because I feel every now and again there's a little break in conversation, or we talk about something else, and I just get this little constriction in my chest. This is it. I feel giddy. I feel happy. I feel sick. This is it. This is what it's all about.
This is it. That's why you follow football, isn't it? For opportunities like these. And listen, you said it best there. We're 90 minutes away from a Champions League final, but you forgot to mention that we've got a 3-goal advantage as well.
There it is again.
Feeling exactly the same as you, sick, happy. I don't know whether I need the toilet or not. I mean, I don't know whether you feel like that, but it feels like I haven't pooed in days again. It's just what happens when you've got an important game of football, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it, Jamie? You
do not want to be on an airplane with me tomorrow.
Oh, no. Right, well, one of us is. Look, we talk about this a lot. You're a bit younger than us, Jamie, so this is, I mean, look, it means a lot to all of us, but you were a kid when Liverpool were doing this kind of thing.
Athens it was, I remember it. I pooed myself nearly, because I was a kid. But no, I remember...
the consequence of it being that time of the day.
Oh, yeah. But I remember it was... we beat Chelsea on penalties, and we should have beat them in extra time with the Cow goal and all that. And I remember, literally, I was in my mum's house, and I ran out into the street, and I screamed, "Get in!" I thought
you were going to say pooed yourself then.
Pooed in the street. Nah, but yeah, that and Istanbul are the only feelings that I've felt in European finals. So then we had the Europa League final a few seasons ago, but with the Champions League, it just feels weird because we haven't had it in a decade.
I thought that the Europa League would be great preparation for this. No, it's not.
No.
It's not. It's been 2 years since we've been in a European final. It's been 2 years since we've been in a semi-final, with the chance to progress to get in there. And we, it wasn't as on paper as comfy as it should be. Now, in terms of the score, and particularly how amazing we were in the first leg. And yet, no, it's helping me not in any way, shape or form. I'm an emotional mess.
I'm a mess as well. Good. I'm all over the place. But I think it's, like you said as well, it's helping my nerves, and it's also not helping my nerves that we're 90 minutes away from a Champions League final with a 3-goal lead. It was like the video that he's put out recently, the fear of failure. I've got that voice in the back of my head where, what if we do fuck this up? We'll be the laughingstock of Britain, stuff like that. Even though we're the most successful side in England and all that, to 5 European Cups, we're the furthest out of all.
And we're
there as well. But if we fuck it up, everyone will be on our case and all that, saying the season's over and all that.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? And I think that does inform it a bit, Ross, is that that's one of the things that needs to get shut out. To some extent, you can't do this. I've had a lot of people talking, it happens all the time, people talking about the Gerrard Rangers stuff at the moment. Like, what happens if it's not as successful? Okay, it's hard not to consider failure, but, an elite mentality, and let's hope that this is what, I don't have the mentality of an elite sportsman. Shock. We have to put our trust in the fact that in the manager and what have you, that these guys have this elite mentality and they don't have this. The fear of failure is not a thing that affects them. We just got to trust that they go out there, because if we're to look at let's analyse our Champions League campaign, the top scorers in the competition, we've got the league going into this game. We've got 3 guys who could conceivably finish a Champions League season on double figures goals, which is unheard of. But Liverpool got every reason to be optimistic going into this game and beyond.
I think Milner's got the most assists on record. Carrius has got the most clean sheets and stuff. I'm surprisingly all right about this one, because the Man City ones and the first Roma one, I was the same as you are now, and then gone, there's nothing to worry about. Of course, there's that little thing of fail, what's going to happen. But Liverpool have shown every game they played in Champions League that they're worthy winners of every game they played, and it's going to go out and go and dick people.
I don't have it where I do not give a shit what other fans think about Liverpool fans. I've just stopped caring about that, and I don't think I really ever have, to be honest with you, because all it means is if they're talking about us, then we're doing something right.
Yeah.
And that's what they know. And what I know as well is that Liverpool are on the cusp of greatness again. You can feel it. Something's changed in this football club over the last couple of years where you just know we're getting back there. And whether we achieve it this season or not doesn't matter to me, because I've seen enough out of this club to know when it's going in the right direction. I've seen us win trophies before, and you know what it feels like. And to your point a little bit earlier, Paul, about the Europa League hasn't really prepped us in any way. I don't think it ever does.
No.
I can remember being nervous for those Champions League games 10 years ago. I was nervous for the group stage games. I was nervous. That's what happens when you play important football matches. So it shouldn't matter how you're feeling around the game. As long as the lads go out there and do the business on the pitch, that's all that matters. And these lads can, and these lads will.
Yeah, I think the thing going into it, just to spot on, like, it doesn't help with the stuff at the moment. Because, and it is why I don't mind it when let me actually just say what I'm saying, because I'm trying to think myself in circles here. There's a lot of negativity going into this game, because there's negativity around the Roma fans, and there's negativity now. There's an air of, like, you know, I've had enough of people saying, be careful when you go over there. I just want to go and watch a game of football. I don't want to have to think about whether I walk down the wrong street and what have you. I don't want to have to think about the impact that Liverpool's assistant manager walking out the week before a Champions League semi-final second leg. All these things are happening, but the thing is, it can be taken two ways, you know, injuries, all these things, loads of things that are not quite going in Liverpool's favour. But my God, in the last 30 years, I've had too many times where the stars have felt like they're aligning, like there's a mystical side to it, like, you know, like, oh, there's a deeper meaning because this has happened and this has happened and this has happened. The odds are starting to kind of stack against us in a lot of this stuff, and ultimately we don't need all that extra stuff, I don't think, because I think we've seen this is a really good side. It's a really well organised side. It's a side with an incredible mentality that's got themselves in this far. We said it on the video Jamie mentioned. We're here because we deserve to be here. So to some extent, it's a real annoyance having to deal with this stuff, but we don't feel like a house built on sand. We don't feel like a club that will cower in the face of negativity. We feel like a kind of team that's going to step up and be counted.
Yeah, that's it. And all this stuff is just going to focus the 11 players who are going to be starting. You know what I mean? And you know, you might go into that game, and you can look at it both ways all the time, can't you? You might go into that game and you might not know your best team. Your manager might not know your best team, but the manager knows his team for this game, I believe, and he knows who's playing.
He's basically got no choice,
and he's trained them to face a Roma side that he knows their best team and he knows how they're going to play. So it just means we're going to be more focused and more. We're just going to go out there and hopefully achieve what we set out to achieve, and that's getting into the Champions League final.
Yeah. There's a stat that I've seen floating around before as well, that to help our nerves a little bit more, we're on 44 goals, including qualifiers, for this season alone. If we score one more goal in the next 2 games, hopefully we're in the final as well, we'll break the records as the top goal scorers ever out of any other side. Barcelona equalled it, 44 in 1999-2000.
There you go. I love stuff like this. You mentioned it in the I think it was the final word from the first leg. It's the stuff that we've done so far that we're just a bit too quick sometimes to. If we were looking at other clubs, if we were looking at Barcelona doing the things that we've done so far, Barcelona would be an absolute shoo-in for this. No one would bat an eyelid about it. We'd be looking at all these other clubs and just, you know, salivating at the prospect of, like, oh, I wouldn't mind watching this team play. They're playing some really exciting football.
Like, did you
really
see how Barcelona
players.
Beat Roma the other night? They're defo going through.
Exactly. Well, yeah. But this is the point, is that we've got all these things going for us. You know, like, teams don't score 5 goals in the Champions League semi-final. It was like 93 or something, wasn't it, the last time someone did? I think it was Ajax was the last team to do it. It doesn't, or I think maybe Barcelona did as well, but the point is these things happen so rarely. You break records for a reason. Now, of course, they count for nothing if you don't go and lift it, but I agree. I think Ross, let's boil it down. There's not a team in the world who wouldn't be upbeat and wouldn't take a 3-goal advantage going into the second leg of any permutation against any team. You would
at any stage of a competition.
At any stage of a competition, let alone a semi-final, you'd be buzzing your tits off with a 3-goal.
That goes back to what I was saying before about the Man City thing of, like, we were a 3-goal lead there. I was like, I would have taken a loss. And then we went out and beat them as well. It's like, what's the point of being negative and just go, this Liverpool team, everything we just said for the past 5 minutes, they're capable of going and winning there.
I think that's a great point, and I think that this is the thing. I don't know how to feel anymore. A lot of the stuff I've realised I start saying is you want to, like, you start trying to, like, anti-jinx things. So I have had so many conversations this week where I am putting so much emphasis on the word if. I've never said the word if more in my entire fucking life than I have done this week. You know, if we do this, and if the Man City do this, it's coming out everywhere because I'm so...
It's not how the team's going to perform or the result, it's the not knowing of what the outcome is. It's killing everyone, isn't it? Yeah. You just want to, like you said the other week, it's just a black picture Wednesday night, and you just want to know what the outcome is, regardless.
And the other thing about feelings and stuff is you can feel as confident as you want right now, but game days when you find out how you really feel, and you can't control that. Yeah. You know, walking down to the ground or running into the ground or whatever it's going to be, then you're going to find out how you, and then seeing their crowd and how they're going to react. That's when you find out how nervous you are, because that's when you find out how much it means.
When we scored our second goal at City and we were 2-1 up, and I know we were going through, I was still shitting myself, just in case if they get another goal or another two, because it happens. Yeah. It's football, anything can happen in it, and I was shitting myself in the last 5 minutes still as well. And
that's the point, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with being apprehensive. There's nothing wrong with being nervy, and it is how it is. You can't ultimately, you listen to things, you read stuff, and it makes it takes the edge off. And there should be a lot of that stuff going on around the website. There's some great articles, and obviously we've done some videos and what have you, as we do. Hopefully to settle the nerves a little bit to the best of our ability. But there's a degree to which you're dead right, because there's no settling the nerves, because they should enjoy it. This is it. This is part of the experience. If you don't get an emotional reaction from leading into this game, then there's probably something wrong with you. You're dead inside. This is what it's about. This is all part of the preamble. It's got to mean something, because if it means nothing to you, what's the point? You can go to pitches. You know what I mean? Go. You know what I mean? Go. Start a new series on Netflix. This is what it's about. This is you only get this from sport. And also sex. You know what I mean? And there's a degree to which none of it's within your control at times. Like, you know what I mean? In this instance, it's mercifully it's not as few and far between with sex that it is with Liverpool. So that's why we should enjoy it while we do have. And
people go through droughts, Paul.
Exactly. Look, Liverpool have been on a dry spell, haven't they? By and large, and you say it all the time, because there's an entitlement. We shouldn't expect anything from this. But the point is that we can keep repeating this till the cows come home. Yes, we can lose this game. Yes, Roma can win this game. Of course they can, because again, they wouldn't be asked, why would they bother to turn up? They'd all go home and the fans would leave it alone, and they'd, you know what I mean? They'd have to just, I don't know, stab their cats instead. But as it turns out, it's a competitive game of football. But we shouldn't fear it because we can lose it. We should embrace it because
we're here.
Because we're here, and we've got every chance of getting there, because we've given ourselves every chance. This is not luck. This is not magic that we've gotten here on. We've gotten here on graft and gumption. Let's continue to enjoy the ride.
Well said.
Thank you. Right, we're going to be doing preferred 11s in a moment, but before we do, and I appreciate that, it's thinking beyond this week is a very, very difficult thing to do. So spare a thought for us, and we've had to plan next week and the week after and the fucking month that goes after that. We're doing a live show. We are back live in Liverpool the night before the final home game of the season. So if you're coming over to Liverpool to watch Liverpool-Brighton, or if you just fancy a bit of a jolly, you're going to go and watch the game in the pub, or if you just want to come over for the night and hang out with us, you can do. We're in Soundbar. It's going to be mega. Here's a little look at how things go down at Redmen TV Live.
Right, so everyone, welcome to Redmen TV Live here in Berlin.
Yeah, look, get involved. Tickets will be, they're on sale now, but you can get access to them by clicking a link in the video info underneath, or going on the Redmen TV socials, or literally just typing it into your web bar. Do people still do that? If you're that kind of person, good on you. It's going to be an amazing event. Whether Liverpool have got something to celebrate or not, we will make sure there are plenty of things to celebrate. We will celebrate the season in the way that we know how, by shouting into microphones in front of people and
stealing people's beers.
And stealing people's pints.
Sorry.
Preferred 11s then. Ross, what have you gone for?
The only option the fucking is.
There is one option for this, Jamie. Let me see your team as well.
Has everyone went for the same team?
I didn't
Jamie's
go for
done it.
Queenie.
Jamie has done the only talking point in this team for me, and it's whether Gini Wijnaldum is restored to his normal position or whether he continues to play the Oxlade-Chamberlain position that he came on off the bench for. And I don't know whether anyone's factored that into how they've written it out or whether they've just written it out in the order that it came to them. I'm going to give you more credit than you've earned there, to be fair, Jamie. But personally, because of how well Gini Wijnaldum played when he came off the bench in the first leg, I've got no problem with him doing that. I think he's got the dynamism to play that more advanced of the 2/8s. But that being said, James Milner's been an absolute revelation at times, particularly I think I keep harping back to the Maribor game, but he's done. I mean, look, he's been great in every position he's played in this season, to be fair. What do you reckon? Did you factor that in at all?
Milner, I always like Milner on the left-hand side because I think, he covers well for Robertson and then he can move around where he wants. I think, for me, it's about... I talked about this on the starting 11. It's about both of these guys, Wijnaldum and Milner, both being sort of back here when we're defending. And then it's about counter-attacking for Liverpool. It's about both of them breaking forwards and being able to sort of play Firmino in and then trying to use Salah and Mane on the wings. That's how I expect Liverpool to set up, very much like Manchester City in the second leg. And that's what I think will probably happen.
It's interesting because I don't know how they approach this, Jamie. I think there's two ways. I was a little critical of Man City's approach, and I think it almost it paid dividends very close to if the referees had been a bit more on the ball, but they just came out at us and went and tried to blitz it and tried to break our spirit.
Kitchen sink pretty much with the formation as well and all that.
Exactly. Like Roma probably will. They could well do that, but I kind of almost fear slightly more them taking a bit more of a patient approach to some extent, because I don't want to. I fear a situation where we go into the last 15 minutes of this game where they only need one, or even if they only need two goals in the last 15 minutes, with our legs getting tired, etc., etc. They've got, if they start with Schick and Dzeko up front, that feels to me like they're going kitchen sink from there.
I don't think this same Roma side they don't have the same calibre as Man City do, so they don't have the tenacity to throw everything out at us at the first 20 minutes and get that early goal and all that. If they go into half time with 1-0 up, needing only 2 more goals and we haven't scored, if it takes them 1 more goal in the next 10-15 minutes after second half, then the last half an hour is going to be terrible, because we're 2-0 down, we haven't scored a goal. Yeah. I think they'll take the time. They'll take the time with that. I don't think they'll throw everything at us because they just don't have the quality.
And I think that's where our strengths are going to lie in the counter-attack. Yeah, Ross, it helped us immensely all season, but Man City being a great example of that, is that I wonder whether they will be wary of that. I'm not sure how wary you can be, because if you're going to attack, you know what I mean. You're going to attack. It's hard to leave yourself, or not to leave yourself a little bit vulnerable if you're going all out for it. But
I agree with Chris. I reckon if we have that protection from Milner and Gini for our defence, there's going to come a point where they need to start taking risks, which just exposes them. It plays into our hands of exactly what we want to do. So when you see a 3-0 goal lead, right, they might get 1 goal, but then they're going to wait till the second half, because time is precious for them, isn't it? They need goals.
The big difference for me between the Roma second leg and the Manchester City second leg is we allowed them the ball on the wings, and we basically said to them, cross the ball in, because you've only got Jesus up front. And that's the big sort of tactical change for me, is that you don't want that to happen with Roma, because if they've got Perotti or El Shawari or whatever it is on the wings, or Kolarov from deep, they're going to have Schick and Dzeko up front, and that's a much harder pairing to deal with for Van Dijk and Lovren than obviously Jesus on his own, who's 5'0" or 4'0" or something. So I watched the Roma game at the weekend. They won 4-1, didn't they? They actually went with a 4-3-3, and Schick did really well playing they were playing against the 3 at the back, so it was like the left centre half he was coming off against. But that first goal, I think it was Nangalan who crossed it in for him, right? he beats the left centre half by a mile. So for me, the key man in this game is probably going to be Andy Robertson. We saw it late on in the first leg against him. You know, Schick gets a good header in, Karius makes the save, but he beat Andy Robertson to the header.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key sort of place for me where we're going to see it. El Shawari scored a goal. Xhaka scored 2 goals at the weekend. One of them was an assist from Kolarov from deep. Everything seemed to come down that left-hand side for Roma. So Trent, probably Gini on that right-hand side, again needs to cut those balls off, and Andy Robertson needs to be aware that Schick's going to be coming in and looking for the header over.
It's going to be a big game for Lovren as well, because you've seen it. He struggled against physical players like Lukaku at Old Trafford. If he comes up against Dzeko, and he could easily get bullied, but then we could see that Lovren where he just shows up and he'll bully 1 or 2 of them. Yeah. So it's going to be a big game for Lovren and Van Dijk, but particularly Lovren for me.
I think I agree, because I think it's telling, isn't it, that like Nainggolan was supporting the attack from the left hand side. Again, as you say, Kolarov is so dangerous, and El Shawari comes as another one as well. And whether he'll play, we don't know. I expected to see him in the first leg. Look, they're going to be. They're
scored a good goal as well at the weekend, like.
Yeah, and I think what was encouraging though from the Chievo game for me was just that they let Chievo win. You know, Chievo, I know they get the penalty and miss it. Scored a good header from a corner, but they had a couple of chances at 0-0 at the start that if you gave us similar chances, that game could be dead and buried within the first 10 minutes. So I think as much as people keep talking about defensively, look, we might see a defensive masterclass from Roma. If they do, fair play to them. They'll have to put on an attacking masterclass at the same time, which is decreases the odds of that happening, of course. But I think Chievo ended up with like 6 shots on target. So look, we're going to have chances in this game. I can't foresee a world where we've done 90 minutes that Liverpool crafting something. And look, that one goal for us should be enough.
That's it. I mean, I was looking at it again, and you know, Roma created 7 chances, and Chievo 6 shots on target, and Roma 7 shots on target. They're not as lethal as we are. We are absolutely ruthless in front of goal most of the time, Mo. And I expect us to just go back to that. Yeah. I expect us to hit us on the counter. We're going to get opportunities, and you know, one goal for us, whether it's at 0-0 or whether we're down at the time, it's going to be a proper dagger to the heart of the Romans.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a couple of notes of encouragement, because obviously we've kind of look at the results and you see them putting Chievo to the sword, and on a top line you're like, oh God, well, you know, they've handled that really well. They played like over half an hour with 10 men, plays into our hands. De Rossi had to play the full game. Nainggolan played the full game.
Dzeko only had 4 minutes off.
Exactly. Kolarov played the full game. It's not like they did they rested heavily the week before.
Schick was the one who got pulled off at 60, wasn't he, just after the sending off?
I think Perotti's injured as well. He's out for this game, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
that means probably you're looking at El Shawari.
Yeah. Strootman as well. Isn't he injured? Or are you talking knock at least?
Yeah, interesting.
And they went back to 4 at the back at the weekend. For say they went 4-3-3, so
very interesting stuff. So look, I say,
if they play 3 at the back against us, they're getting done.
Yeah, look, if you play, look, and this is ultimately what it is with this. If you want to look for reasons why Roma can hurt you, look, they exist. We've seen them in the flesh. You know, seen it at Anfield up close and personal. You can go back to it. They're a team that cause problems. They're going to be a Champions League side again next season. You know, if Liverpool want to do what we want them to do, what they need to do, said it plenty of times before, it's base analysis. If you want to win the Champions League, you've got to find a way to get this done, and if we don't, then we'll have to make our peace with it. It's going to be what it be. Unfortunately, we're going to reach a point where there's no more words that are going to make this any better or worse for us. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait, and the waiting's what's going to kill us. Or maybe Italians on mopeds, who knows? But yeah, we'll see.
Don't worry, Paul. I've been practicing me sprint. I'll be sound. I mean, I can't do it for very long. But you know what? If I can lose him in the first 15 seconds, I'm sound.
All I need to do is be able to sprint for 2 seconds longer than you. Or vice versa, and we'll be all right.
Dang, I was speaking to an Italian before, and I actually got him to teach me the Italian for I'm Greek,
yeah.
But I've forgotten it.
I'm American! Size asthmatic. He's asthmatic.
Yeah.
Let's just have his nailer off, and maybe we'll just use him as if Simon's eyes, and we're watching this video back after the fact. We won't do that, just for insurance and indemnity purposes. It won't be our fault.
I'll just make sure his ankle's not working, so you can see clearly that he is the weakest link, and that, you know, Just like in the wild.
I'm sure.
Kicked off.
Run over his foot again.
Yeah, no, I'll do that again. I've tried my best to wound him this season. On the plus side, funnily enough, I was speaking to Phil Reed from LFC before. He was saying like, all the old school Reds, all the Brian Reeds and the Peter Hootons and all that, are just not concerned about any of this stuff. They're just like, then we'll go over it, it'll be fine. It's kind of being blown out of proportion. Not saying it's not bad and things don't bad that happen, but we everything and hopefully we do get to just go and enjoy a football match. Score predictions, Ross.
1-1.
Jamie.
3-1 to Roma, because we're that typical Liverpool side that people always call us, and the one goal will be Mo Salah chipping the keeper because he loves chipping goals recently.
You know what? There would be something, you know what, there genuinely would be something to that, to be a 3 down and Mo Salah just going through and scoring it and ending. And I don't want to have to live through that, but if that's how it is, that's how it is. What have you got, Chris?
3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, same as Man City for me. I'll take a 2-1.
Key man?
What we Firmino?
Mane.
Mane?
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk. I'm going Robertson.
If he has, let's hope he just is the best left back in the world. And if he is, then we'll be fine. Yeah, listen, John Higgins, who's a regular on the channel, will be over in Dublin for this game. He's at Murray's Bar. So if you want to go over, and he's going to be doing some film and whatever, so go over, say hello, get involved. Ross and Co will be in the Cop, so go and say hello to them if you're going to that. And if you're in Rome, come and cower with us. Chris will be there. It should be good fun.
They won't recognise me. I'll be in disguise.
Yeah, like a moustache. And
Yeah.
cool, great. Watch out for the guy who looks like Chris but with a moustache. And me. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Listen, if you think Liverpool can do it, if you think we can go all the way to Kiev, and you know what, let's not worry about beyond for now. Let's just get through this. Drop a like on the video. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Let's get to 250,000. Before we lift number 6, yeah, why not? Thanks for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for leaving your comments, for being involved this season. I know the season's not over.
We could have years
of this.
before we reach number 6.
Keep going.
Okay. Imagine getting 250,000 subscribers and winning the Champions League. That would be great.
Yeah, make it happen. Hughes and Liverpool. Thanks. We'll be doing some videos from Rome. The lads will be doing stuff from Anfield, so stay tuned for all that, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.